First off, I just want to thank everybody for coming. To see this many people interested in Hoxie the First Stand moving forward just brings joy to my heart that I don't think y'all can imagine the joy of that. Anyone that's ever heard me speak about this, y'all understand my passion about this project. And a lot of people ask me, why are you so passionate about this? Number one, you're not from Hoxie. Number two, you're not from Walnut Ridge, really. I'm a transplant. And number three, what do you know about this? Well, first of all, I was sitting in the chamber, Lawrence County Chamber one day, and somebody told me the story, and this was probably less than 10 years ago, the story of Hoxie the First Stand. What were we working on at that time? We were talking about Beatles. How are we going to get people to come to Walnut Ridge to see the Beatles stuff? They were only here for a split second. And I was just like, well, what do you mean about Hoxie? What do you mean that Hoxie was the first challenge integration in the nation? How come I don't know about this? Secondly, how come I wasn't taught this in school? I'm from Truman. I'm still in Arkansas. So how come I didn't know about this? And a light went on in my head and said, if we could bring 15,000 people to come to Walnut Ridge because the Beatles landed at our airport, and I'm not discouraging that. We worked hard on that. It's a great project for Walnut Ridge because that's what they've got to hold on to. But in my heart, I'm thinking, what can we do with this story, which is the story of the first challenged integration, not just in Arkansas, but in the United States of America. It set the precedent for all other integrations, not just in Arkansas, but in the U.S. It's an untold story. It made no sense to me. Then I began to reach out and I met Miss Ethel, and I listened to Miss Ethel, and I meet other people that were actually there, Francis and everybody else. I was talking to all these people that were there during the integration, and I'm like, how come we're not sharing this story? The story of Hoxie, in my mind, and this comes from a mind of someone who represents Arkansas on a daily basis as a state representative. When I go throughout this country to conferences and things, and when I say Arkansas, they look at me like, oh, you poor thing. You're flower country. You know, y'all are uneducated. You're probably the first time you've had shoes on, you know. And so there's this perceived idea, and then the other thing, they come up to me and they want to talk to me about the Little Rock Nine. And I'm not saying anything bad about the Little Rock Nine. That is part of our history, and we have to own it. But I don't want people to always think of Arkansas that way. I want them to understand that Hoxie was first, and Hoxie is a totally different story than the Little Rock Nine. It is a story of a community that came together to do what was right. They weren't forced to do it. Nobody military had to come in to make them do it. Now, they had to stand firm, and they had to overcome obstacles, mostly outside obstacles that were brought into the community, but they did that. I want people in America to understand, that Hoxie is an example of what can be accomplished when a community stands for what is right. That's what I want people to understand. In this day and age, we need that. We have gotten away from civil discourse. We have gotten away from, I can disagree with you and not hate you. I want Hoxie's museum to be a place where people can understand that again. That these people did not always agree, but right prevailed. And once right prevailed, you know what happened? Hoxie went on about being Hoxie. Hoxie went on about the kids going to school. Hoxie went on about people working in the fields together and working in the factories together. I want people to realize that. You can disagree, but you can still accomplish things. And you don't have to hate your neighbor because they don't agree with you 100% of the time. I don't agree with y'all 100% of the time. Everybody knows that, and that's fine. But Hoxie's place in history is unique. It's unique because of three things that the school board said. The school board said, it's the law. It's going to save us money because I'm supposed to be looking out for the school's money. But more importantly, it was right in the sight of God. Those are the 3 battle cries of Hoxie, the first stand. That shows what Hoxie really was about. It's not about bragging rights. It's not about we were #1. It's about good can prevail if good people stand together. We all don't know the pressure that the school board was under. It was tremendous. Gene can talk about things that happened with his family. And what we lose the sight of is that school board was all white. And it was making a stand for, and I'm going to use the word colored students, because Miss Ethel had to educate me that it was okay to say colored because I had been told it was not right to say. But I say that because that's how they were viewed at that time, colored students. It was a colored school. It wasn't a black school. It wasn't an Afro-American school. It was called a colored school. And I use those words so people can understand the mindset in 1955. So what this school board in this town did is remarkable. It deserves to be told. It needs to be told. And we need to capture all these stories before these people are no longer here to tell them. With this museum, what I see, it's a place where people can come and learn again and go wrong. That we can learn how to overcome disputes. We can learn how to do dispute resolution. And I want them to understand what it was like in 55. When they walk in, I don't want them just to have a feel-good story about how this town did this and we didn't have to have the military. No, I want the good, the bad, and the ugly of 55 to come out so people can understand what it was like during this integration. Why do I want that? I don't want to repeat it again. If we forget what these trailblazers did, it will happen again. That's why we must tell the story on all sides. And that's really why I'm passionate about it. I'm still baffled why I didn't know about it when I went to school. You would think this would have been a story that we would have been screaming as a state from the tallest mountains. This is a story Arkansas needs to be remembered for. It needs to be the story that's told that Arkansas took a stand in a little small town in northeast Arkansas to do what was right in the sight of God. And that's what we must remember. Thank all of y'all for coming, and I appreciate your support. It really does warm my heart. Thank you.